Once in a lifetime, there comes a book so amazing and smart and thoughtful that it blows everybody's mind. War and Peace, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, the Bible. None come even close to the book that changed the face of human civilization even before it was released. The You Are by Dr. Rickon, PhD. His book is better, superior and even gooder than any other book you have read in your life. Already this book conquers the top-selling charts in our world and beyond, and the book is not even released yet. The New York Times gave it 5 stars, stating the U-type is revolutionary. Washington Post gave it 10 stars, saying it will make you stop driving. And even Kier Chronicle issued a staggering warning. Do not read this book. Praise Kier. Users online rushed to leave their impression on the book also. The Sexy Beach 2000 wrote, I am the me I am. Truly inspiring. Jake F. wrote, GOAT. And Sinerina wrote, transformative. I'm gonna have to change my name again. With every page of this book, your list of favorite quotes will be filled with new, genius, smart and thought-provocative gems like humans can grow beards, while bees cannot. By reading this book, you prove that I am real, just as the money I received for it proves that you are. They cannot crucify you if your hand is in a fist. As of this writing, I have made love 786 times, and each was a unique adventure into the very mouth of personhood. This book will literally and figuratively change your life, and you will never be the same. And also, you will never be able to watch the sisters act again. The You Are, soon, in every store and in every heart. Okay, back to reality, and honestly, the last thing I expected to do when I started doing the Severance videos is that I'm gonna be doing a booktube review today, and yeah, the UUR is everything you expected it to be. Right now, only 39 pages available, or maybe even less, depends on what screen are you reading, and so basically it's like a 1-hour audiobook and you can check it by yourself. So this video is not gonna be me telling you exactly what happens in the book. It's not that big, you can do it by yourself, especially since it's free. It's completely free. Go ahead and check it out. If you're a fan of Severance, you're gonna enjoy. So let's look at a book in 2 different angles. First, let's judge it by its own merits, like it's an independent book, like it's something we actually bought in a bookstore. And here, as I told you, this is exactly what you would expect from somebody like Rickon. Insane amount of adjectives, almost in every sentence. Like most of the time, it feels like somebody wrote something and then sent it to ChatGPT and asked to make it more beautiful. Find more synonyms, make it as more relevant to literature as possible. This is what it feels like most of the time. Like the first chapters are completely self-absorbent. You can see that the author is really, swimming in his own praise. He really wants to be appreciated. He really wants to be loved. And even the book is called The UUR, but mostly it actually talks about the author himself. Like it makes him, the special guy he is. But there is actually a surprise here. Yeah, there is a but here, and I'm as surprised as you are. Like I was expecting the same level of ridiculousness and the same level of stupidity in every chapter, but he kind of started to win me over on chapters 7 and 8. Like there was a chapter about him making love to his wife, Devon, and it's still, don't get me wrong, it's still, as ridiculous as you expect it to be, with weird idioms, with weird allegories, with once again 125,374 adjectives for every sentence. But still, he started to win me over because it was kind of a sweet chapter. He was not dealing in, himself and his own ego. He was more talking about his feelings to his wife, how he feels when they make love together, how he feels with them creating new life. And there were some kind of sincere and really, really alive moments that kind of made me feel more sympathy towards Rickon. And especially in chapter 8, which is the last chapter of this small segment that we have, when he talks about his conversation between him and Mark after Gemma died. And once again, he suddenly appears to be way more vulnerable, at least it feels real. Like most of the time when he tries to present his emotion and when he tries to be vulnerable, it just feels like a tool to, to make the book more entertaining and more interesting in the perception of Rickon. It's obviously ridiculous and it's obviously very, very funny, but you can feel like I'm gonna write it that way so everybody will see how beautiful and how open-minded I am. But in this chapter of, Mark is making fun of him, is actually being angry at him, and he opens up about him, being insecure about something and knowing, by the way, how he can be annoying. And it kind of made me once again feel better about him. Like, I appreciate people that know that sometimes they can be ridiculous, that sometimes they can be annoying towards other people, but they don't break their own personality for the sake of the world. They are staying themselves and they're actually creating this small community around them. So I kind of respect that in Rickon. Once again, this is the last thing I expected to feel reading this book, but it kind of worked for me at some moment. Like, when I was finishing chapter 8, I was already like feeling a little bit disappointed because I wanted more. I started to be invested in his story and his philosophy. Obviously, it has way more merit than that for, us Severance fans, but as a unique book, a free book, I would never pay money for this book, obviously. I could give it a chance, actually. Sometimes there is some interesting moments there. Like, you can feel that the guy who wrote this book, even when he's trying to be ridiculous, there's still somebody who is very talented who is writing this book. Now, I know you clicked this video not because you wanted to know how this book has its own merits and you can buy it or whatever. You want to know how it's connected to Severance TV show. And it is, but it obviously doesn't give us some unique insight. It doesn't provide us some new information that will help us build new theories. But you learn a little bit about our characters. You learn about Devon, like what actually prompted her to leave to the woods and live with Rickon in this big house that we see in the TV show. Like, she was actually very afraid of the blowing up of the truck that was, emphasized in the Lexington letter. So now we know that Devon and Rickon basically used to live in New York, and then after the truck being blown up, they decided to move to a different place, probably because they also were expecting to have a kid and they wanted to be in a safer place. But this is not all. We also have a lot of Gemma and Mark. Rickon is not given their names. He's using like some kind of pseudonyms. Very funny, very stupid. But we obviously understand this is Mark and Gemma. So for me, the most interesting part of this was obviously, some moments with Gemma, because Mark we know, and Mark is, a funny guy, and he used to make fun of Rickon. And especially when Gemma was alive, he was not depressed. So he was, making fun of Rickon, making some stupid jokes, like using his ass because he's Mark ass, and he were making ass jokes on Rickon, which is funny. Obviously, I mean, ass is always funny. But as I told you, there's also Gemma there, and Rickon is sharing his experience with her, and he kind of loves her, not like in in a romantic way, but he definitely really appreciates her. Like, she and him shared some, interesting moments. And even though like there's a conversation after Gemma's death and Mark is completely like making fun and ridicules Rickon there, and he's telling him like, Gemma used to make fun of you, we always laugh at you. And he obviously hurt Rickon very much in this conversation, but it still kind of felt to me that from Rickon's experience and his memories, there were moments that Gemma enjoyed being with him. And as I told you, this is the most valuable information for me as a fan of the show, because we know Miss Casey, we know a little bit about her, but we basically don't know anything about what kind of person Gemma was. We know that Mark was madly in love with her, like 2 years after, he still cannot cope with the loss, and obviously it means that there was very, very special relationship here. But there are no stories like we used to go there, like what we know. She was a professor of Russian literature. That's it. That's all we know about her. It really doesn't tell you anything about what kind of person she was. And this small book, like a beginning of a book, actually, it's, as I told you, just a couple of chapters, it actually gives some insight about what kind of person Gemma was, which I think is incredible. But I honestly think that if you are a fan of Severance and you enjoy its dry humor, you're gonna have fun on each and every page of this short book, because the whole concept of dry humor is very, very prevalent there, and you will appreciate it only if you know like Rickon and what kind of a character, what kind of a person he is. Like in every page you can sense that the author is writing something that the author thinks that Rickon will say and think, and probably the author himself is cracking up while he's writing it. This is not laughing on the floor kind of jokes, but it's very funny still, and as I told you, this is a very satisfying dry humor. I mean, there's chapter there when Rickon explains why Sisters Act, the movie with Whoopi Goldberg when she used to be funny, and she basically became a nun, and there was a lot of amazing songs in this movie, so a very light movie that you watch and you switch off your brain completely. So there's a big chapter there when Rickon analyzes this movie and tries to prove to us that this movie is not as significant influence on religion as it's supposed to be. Like anybody thinks that way. It kind of feels like he's seen some of the videos on YouTube when people are like finding meaning when there is none, and there's like an essay, 2-hour or 3-hour essay about how Sister Act basically changed Catholicism and Christianity or something like this, and he's seen this video and he suddenly decided that this is the prevalent thought in the philosophical and the religious world, and he's just trying to convince us like his opinion is not that popular, but he thinks this movie doesn't deserve its high praise. So yeah, those kind of moments, and him being conceived and born as part of his parents' theatrical experience. His parents were actors and probably directors, and they conceived him on a stage and they gave birth on a stage in a 9-month theatrical experience. So yeah, a lot of ridiculous things like that. The quotes I gave you in the beginning of this video is just the tip of an iceberg. Once again, on every page you will find something that will make you giggle. So this is why I'm doing this video of not a recap. I'm not reading to you because I could have, by the way, it's 1-hour video. It's in my ballpark. Usually this is the videos I do here, but I actually would love if you go there and check this book, read it by yourself or listen to the audiobook. By the way, it's being narrated by the actor who portrays Rickon, so it's even more awesome. Unfortunately, this book is not available to me, the audiobook. I tried to download it and maybe, add some inserts to the video, but I don't know, in my region it's not available, but I read it. At least I could read it. And yeah, so I kind of jealous if you can actually listen to the audiobook, and as I told you, it's just 1 hour, and if you put it on the speed of 1.5 or 125, it's going to be even less than that. Give it a chance. I guarantee you, if you are a fan of Severance, you will love this small book. You're gonna find something interesting about the whole lore and the whole world, and it's gonna be just a very nice addition to the whole Severance experience. And since I'm talking about this, once again, hats off to the marketing department, to everybody who is somehow related to the promotional materials of this TV show. I mean, we got Lexington letter, now we have the UUR, we had the scene with the, them pretending being severed in the train station, we have the balloons with the face. This is not just trailers. I mean, somebody who is very creative, very invested, knows exactly what the fans are thinking and what the fans want. Somebody there should really get a promotion and a raise after this job. Well done. And how lucky we are to be alive in this period with TV shows like that. I mean, I'm just having fun, and hopefully you too. If you read the UUR, let me know what you thought about the book in the comments. Please let me know, when do you think you're gonna be able to drive? Because I really need some help with it. It's been a day already and I'm still afraid to go to my car. I really hope this is something I'm going to be able to manage one day. So if you have any advice for me, please. And also let me know, what is the U type of you? Thank you so much for watching this video. Please feel free to support it in any shape or form that feels comfortable to you. I would like to thank everybody who supports me on Patreon and on YouTube. Your donations, your financial support is what makes this channel possible. And I would also love to welcome 7 new motivators after a very interesting live stream. We have PM Philosophy, Debbie Debbie, Miss Moonlight, Zeptane Kaboom, Real Enigmas and Theories, shout out to Real, Christian Unpronounceable, and Pax Banter. Thank you so much for joining this small but awesome community, and I'm gonna see you on the next video. Bye!